picture again, I will, of course, but you see this concrete pillar right here.
Wall. There's a cutout. It starts on this side, there's a cutout, and then continues on the other side. There is a ledge in between the two, probably about 3 feet high.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, and if you would, Ms. Rivera, just bear with my, use that word again, admittedly horrible artwork.
We have Mr. LaFay. Would you like the easel? Deputy, would you grab the easel?
I would, I think, Your Honor.
Okay, you may.
Thank you so much.
If you can back it up just a little bit, Dan, so
Is there something?
Ms. Rivera can see it as well. And giant, there's two. They're ready, big block. Sorry, there's no ledge for the markers up there. You can just put it on the table.
So,
Your Honor, permission to move about the courtroom.
You may.
so what we're looking at here,
Dan, can you move it back a little bit so Ms.
you mentioned,
Rivera can
you
see
have
it?
like a cutout.
No, I'm just. There you go. Perfect. Thank you, Dan. You want it ahead of time?
Basically, this is what I previously called a pillar, if you'll bear with my bad artwork. And that's what we're looking at front-wise here in the photo, Exhibit 2. However, going behind that, if you were actually in your vestibule or front porch area, there would be, as you mentioned, this cutout. It's about a 3-foot, 3.5-foot wall. Is that correct?
Right.
And so, and over here, I'm going to put this is your place, and over here would be, which I can't even do because I can't do three-dimensional stuff, but this way is Mr. Apperson's place.
Yeah, mine is here, and his is there.
Right.
And here's the cutout.
And so, certainly anybody could, well, this wall is you can just straddle it or sit on it, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I just wanted to say, so we are clear, this is not a solid wall in past this big pillar.
Correct.
Okay, thanks. Your Honor, I'm done with the easel and
Okay. Thank you.
I'm going to tell you. Thank you, Ms. Rivera. Thank you.
Not a problem.
You told us that, of course, you have a surveillance camera that records. Is that correct?
Yes.
But that camera would pick up anybody walking from the right, that is to say the Appersons, the left to your front door. Is that correct?
More or less, depends on where I have it pointed, because I can adjust it.
Do you recall having your deposition taken on July the 17th of 2015?
Yes,
And you were sworn to tell the truth?
yes,
And do you recall the prosecutor at that deposition asking you, page 27, line 9, would it, question, line 5, and would it pick up anybody walking from the direction of Mr. Apperson is immediately to your right, if you're looking at your front door, correct? Would it pick up anyone walking from right to left to your front door? Answer yes.
need to be a little more specific about what area from right to left you're talking about.
No, ma'am, thank you. But I'm just asking if that's what you testified to.
Yes,
And you're welcome to look at this if you'd like.
okay.
It's your call. Would you like to look at your deposition?
No, it's fine.
Did you say that under oath on July the 17th?
Yes,
Okay, now, here today, having said that it would pick up anybody walking from the Appersons, that your camera would, are you now telling the jury that the camera may pick up someone, depending on how you have it positioned, or it may not, depending on its position? Is that your testimony today?
what I'm meaning to say is that I can move the camera angle from right to left to see anything in front up until a certain point coming in towards the door, but it goes but so far because of the wall that's there. And the same thing on the other side because of the outside of the window, the wall that's on the outside, the frame of the window itself. It can't go past that, obviously.
So you didn't say any of that when you answered this question on the 17th. Would the camera pick up anybody walking from right to left? Your answer, yes. So my question is you didn't mention on the 17th, it depends on how the camera is positioned, did you?
I don't believe I did. I don't remember that.
You did not, you review your camera footage every 3 to 4 days, is that correct?
Yes,
And you did not see any video footage of Mr. Apperson coming onto your front porch, is that correct?
I did not. It doesn't go that far.
My question is, did you see any footage of Mr. Apperson coming onto your front porch?
No,
You already testified that you did not see any signs of any urine on your front door / or porch area on June the 12th. Is that correct?
correct.
Now, your front door, and Your Honor, I'm sorry if I may get Exhibit 2 again.
Okay.
I mean, I'm looking at the same photo that we've looked at, the same one, which is part of Composite 2.
Okay.
And I'm going to, with the court's permission, Your Honor, if I could just pass it from the jury as I ask questions about this. Ms. Rivera, if you have questions and you can, during my questioning, if you'd like to see this, please let me know. The door, which is, again, now partially covered up with Halloween decorations, that has, there are 2 doors there, is that correct?
My door and their door.
Well, thank you.
You mean my front door?
Thank you, and thank you for letting me narrow my question. I'm just speaking about your door.
Okay.
You have 2 doors, do you not?
Yes,
The first one is a plexiglass door, correct?
correct.
And basically, you leave that when you're not at home closed. And, of course, this photograph, which is 2, is, of course, taking them a little bit of a distance, but and it is glass, so in front of your door is a clear plexiglass door.
Yes.
You, on June the 12th, did not see, on your plexiglass, you did not see spatters of liquid. Is that correct?
I can't really say because I wasn't really looking for it.
Okay. Well, so, not having looked for it, you didn't see it. Would that be fair?
Supposedly, yes.
Okay? And you did not notice a stench or smell of urine at your front door, correct?
No.
Now, ma'am, back to, and I'm sorry to take these out of order, but this plexiglass door that you have, at the bottom of it is a shiny brass
Kick plate.
apron thing.
Kick plate.
Kick plate, thank you. And that shiny brass kick plate did not have streaks and spatters of urine stains or anything on it that you noted when you got home on June the 12th. Is that correct?
It's correct, but I didn't look at it either, so.
So you had mentioned that certainly during June, you had your sprinklers that came on every day. Is that correct?
More or less every day. I wasn't keeping track, but they came on more often than twice a week at night.
You come home typically from work between 4 and 7:30, do you not?
Yes,
And your sprinklers go on at 9. Is that correct?
when they're on the normal schedule, they come on at 9 o'clock at night on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Okay. But otherwise, in here, you're using them more often, so they could go on every day at 9, correct?
Yes,
Your sprinklers do not hit the front door. Is that correct?
not all the way to the front door.
Right. So your front door, of course, is set back, correct?
Correct.
Say yes for
Yes.
the record. Thank you, ma'am. And the sprinklers, while they may come on in somewhat into that vestibule area in front of the door, they do not hit the door itself, correct?
Correct.
So, my question now is, when you mentioned that you had a conversation with Mr. Woods on the 15th? Or, I beg your pardon, you first learned about all of this on the 15th or 3 days later, is that correct?
Correct.
So, having learned about this, and since you've now told us that the sprinklers do not hit your front door, there were no 3-day-old urine streaks on your plexiglass, urine spatters on the plexiglass, urine stains on the plexiglass, or on the brass kick plate. Is that correct?
Correct.
Ma'am, you told us that you had stopped speaking to to the Appersons, and that would be both he and his wife,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
No, I'm sorry, Your Honor. This is a point when I actually spoke about this with Mr. Fudge. So I need to approach with Mr. Fudge. Ms. Rivera, I want to just direct your attention to something that happened. You had mentioned that you had stopped speaking to the Appersons, indeed, several years ago. On December the 7th of 2012, was your boyfriend, Alan Brady, arrested for striking Mrs. Apperson?
That was what they said happened, yes.
I'm just asking if he was arrested for it.
He was arrested.
That didn't make you happy, did it? Ma'am, you told us that during June, and in fact before you had heard about, 3 days before you heard about this, on June the 12th, that you had filed an injunction.
That's correct.
You went to court on that injunction on June the 23rd, is that correct?
That's correct.
The injunction was denied, correct?
Correct.
And that's the very day that you made out a police report in this case, is that correct?
I don't remember.
Would it refresh your memory to see the date on your written statement?
Yes.
Ma'am, for counsel.
You may.
Ma'am, I'm going to direct your attention down to the bottom of the page next to your signature. Do you see a date?
Yes.
Is that June the 23rd?
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If I could take one moment, please, Your Honor.
You may.
Your Honor, I have no further questions. Thank you. I'll collect my stuff.
Redirect and then we'll get questions.
May I approach the clerk, Your Honor?
Okay.
Let the record reflect on repeating State's Exhibit 2 for identifications. If I may approach the jury in inquiring of Ms. Rivera.
You may.
Ms. Rivera, can you see this from here? Okay, I'll start here.
Yeah, I can see it.
Is this window where your camera's located?
That is the camera.
And this is the front door?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so if now you know what I'm referring to, the camera would be in this window here, and the front door where that gap between the two units is over in this area. How many feet would you say the front door and the gap wall is recessed from where your window is?
Six to 7 feet.
And would it be, or if you could tell the jury, even if you turn the camera 90 degrees to face straight at your front door, what would that camera pick up?
The wall.
Inside of your residence?
Yes.
Are there any cameras located that could see the front door of your residence if somebody were to be standing right there and didn't actually walk up your walkway?
No.
Now, you were asked about a statement in the deposition, and forgive me, I don't have it, the deposition in front of me, but something along the lines of, if somebody was walking from right to left in front of the residence, would your camera pick that up? And you answered yes in the deposition.
Yes.
Okay. And with where your camera is facing, if somebody were walking from right to left, be it from facing out right to left, or even in the alternative, from the right to the left in front of your residence, the camera would pick that up.
Yes.
Okay. But it has limitations.
Yes.
Does the camera have limitations in exactly how far to the left it can see?
Yes, it does.
No matter how far you turn that camera?
Objection leading.
Okay. Sustained.
I'll move on, Judge. During the months of June leading up to this incident, how often was your front porch wet, be it from the sprinklers or anything else for that matter?
It's hard to say. I'm going to say almost every couple of days, whether it's rain or sprinklers.
My apologies. You can finish. I'm sorry.
No, it could be, it's hard to say because they would come out a lot of times and just test them to, make adjustments to them. And so he'd run the sprinklers during the day just to check the timing of them and whether or not they're working properly. And so they were out there a lot and they were running a lot.
Someone with maintenance?
Yes, no, Greener Industries.
And was it unusual to you, be it when you're leaving for work in the morning or at any point in the day, to have portions of your front porch wet as a result of sprinklers?
Not at all. It happens all the time.
Would it be unusual to you to come home and see liquid on the porch?
Not at all.
The December 2012 incident brought up by defense counsels would be 3 years this December, correct?
December 9th.
Okay, and your lack of interaction with the Appersons started before that?
It started before that, yes. The reason that happened was because Alan was...
German.
Ms. Rivera, without getting into the specifics of that incident, the relationship between you and the Appersons as neighbors soured long before December 2012.
Correct.
And for the record, you personally were not involved in what took place between Mrs. Apperson and your guest at your residence.
Correct.
One moment to confer, Your Honor. I have nothing further.
Your Honor, I have no further questions. Thank you.
And as I said, before we break for lunch, I did want to ask if there was any questions from the jury for either Mr. Wood or Ms. Rivera? You? Okay, if you can write them down and on a clean piece of paper, I'll have the deputy collect them.
And Your Honor, while that's being written down, could Mr. Lefay and I approach briefly?
You may. Counsel, you might as well come back up because we do need to confer. As I posed, and the answer to that is by stipulation, the attorneys agree it was July 17th of 2015. July 17th of 2015. It appears the rest of these questions are in regards to Mr. Woods. Is that correct? I have.
That's like a general question. No one can answer that. I don't think anyone can answer that.
Right. This one's kind of.
I haven't seen.
And these two are for definitely for Mr. Wood. I think these two. At this point, actually, Mr. Wood may be able to answer if he saw, but I do not know. It could be asked of Mr. Wood if he knows, and if he doesn't know, he would not know. Ms. Rivera, may she step down?
No objection, Ron.
No objection.
Okay, and subject to recall, and can we bring Mr. Wood back in, please? Thank you, Mr. Rivera. I will answer this question as well. While we are bringing Mr. Wood back in, the question from the jury was, how did Mr. Apperson get from his condo to Ms. Rivera's with the hedge and wall running between the two? Okay, that question was asked of Mr. Wood previously, and based on that question being asked, the objection would be asked and answered. So therefore, there is a proper objection that would have to be sustained, and therefore I would have to instruct you that you must rely on the evidence already presented and your memory of that evidence. Okay. Now, as to Mr. Wood, you may come forward. Thank you. Welcome back, Mr. Wood.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you are still under oath at this time. We had a couple questions from the jury. The first question, and the attorneys will be able to follow up these questions if they have any follow-up. The first question is, what time was it when you came to clean the pools?
On Friday, I come usually very early in the morning. I couldn't see to clean the filters. So I came later on in the afternoon, right after lunch. So people could swim in a nice clean pool over the weekend.
Okay. Okay. And so the other question was, based on the question, you said you come early in the morning, and that either, the question is, do you usually clean pools in the dark?
A lot of people ask me that. The answer is no. A commercial pool has lights in the water, and it has tower lights too. That's Florida state law, so you can see if there's anybody in the water. If they're incapacitated, you can actually see them.
Okay. And then another question was, at what point in time was Mr. Apperson first seen by you?
Probably around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon sometime.
And any follow-up questions by the attorneys at this time?
I have one follow-up, Your Honor. It was referenced the first question, Mr. Woods, that you were asked, specifically that it was too dark to see the filter. My question would be, and I think you may have partially answered it about the lights, do you do some cleaning in the pool before you get to the filter?
Yes.
And you came back because there was no light lighting up the filter?
Yes.
So that's why you had to come back later in the day?
Correct.
Nothing further, Judge.
And then that was the last question. There was one additional question that was asked, and of that question that was asked, I will let you know that is a question that cannot be answered by either of these witnesses. That's one of those questions that you would have to rely on the evidence, and it simply is just a question that they cannot answer based on so we will not ask that last question. Mr. Woods, we'll have you step down, and you can be excused for lunch. You do need to come back, though, however, after lunch. All right. And State, you want to call one more witness
Yeah,
before
with the
lunch?
court's permission, it will be very brief. We
And-
call Officer Rotuno, if that's okay with the court.
Let me ask the jurors. Having a discussion with the attorneys, they did tell me and promise me that it would be brief. We would let you leave for lunch around 12:30 or so, not too much after normal lunchtime. However, if you want to go to lunch now, I will excuse you for lunch now. But if you want to keep going and do one more witness, we can do that. Keep going? Keep going? Everyone in agreement? All right, we'll keep going and do one more witness.
They would call Officer Robert Rotuno.
Do solemnly swear, Lord, that the testimony you shall give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may.
Good afternoon, sir. Could you state your full name for the record?
Robert Rotuno
And how are you employed?
with Winter Springs Police Department.
In what capacity?
I'm just an officer, road officer for Police Department.
And how long have you been employed as an officer with Winter Springs?
5 years.
Briefly tell the jury what your job duties are.
I respond to calls for service, conduct traffic stops on a daily basis.
You so employed on June 12th of this year.
Yes, sir.
And I guess I need to fast forward. Were you so employed on June 18th of this year?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall getting a call and responding to 516 Club Drive?
I do.
Okay. Was that reference a event or disturbance over with, as you would refer to it
Yes.
in your line of work?
Yes.
And what does that mean?
It's a possible crime that had occurred, not in my vision.
Okay. Not in your presence?
Right,
Yeah.
correct.
Did you meet with a Sherry Rivera?
I did.
Did you meet with a Karen Payne? Do you recall meeting with her?
No.
Okay. And is Miss Rivera the owner, resident of 516 Club Drive? Yes. Did you learn of certain allegations?
I did.
Make a report.
I did.
At some point, did you meet with a Anthony Woods?
Yes,
Did he write a statement?
he did.
At the conclusion of your involvement, admittedly without witnessing anything, what did you do?
I gathered all the information from both Ms. Rivera and Mr. Woods.
Objection is irrelevant if it's at the conclusion of his investigation.
I'll rephrase the question. Officer Rotuno, could you describe to the jury how you concluded your investigation, or in fact what that entailed?
I articulated a crime and placed it on paper and sent it to the state attorney's office.
Including witness statements and
Correct.
and what you heard and whatnot?
Correct.
And the residence that you responded to, is it in the jurisdiction of Winter Springs, Florida?
Yes, sir.
Within the county of Seminole County, Florida?
Yes.
I have nothing further for the officer.
I beg your pardon. Officer Rotuno,
Yes, sir.
you collected no physical evidence in this case, is that correct?
Correct.
No photographs, you
No,
didn't
sir.
take any?
No, sir.
And you certainly didn't collect any DNA, is
Negative.
that correct?
That is correct.
Where did you meet Miss Rivera?
At her residence.
Did you look at her front door and porch and inspect it?
I
You did not know that she had a surveillance camera, is that correct?
I did know she had from previous calls, yes.
But she didn't mention anything about it on this call?
She had mentioned that the suspect was on camera but had no video of it.
So she said that he was on camera, but she had no video?
Correct, of the front door.
So she told you that she had him on camera?
No object to hearsay.
Sustained.
Okay, well, did you ask to review the camera?
I did not.
And based on everything that you did, that's why, based on everything that was said to you and everything that you did, that's, the things that you did and the things that, whatever people told you, that's why you forwarded this case on to the prosecutors, is that correct?
Correct, for a filing decision.
You were the investigating officer, correct?
Yes.
But you did not arrest Mr. Apperson, is that
No,
correct?
sir. No, sir.
I don't have anything further.
I have no follow-up, Your Honor.
And is he released or subject to review?
He can be released, Your Honor.
Be released? Okay, yeah. Excuse me.
Your Honor, at this time, the state of Florida would rest.
Alrighty. And at this time, we will go ahead and take our lunch break. As I said, I would have you take your notes and place them face down on your chair when you leave. As you'll be permitted to go about and do whatever you'd like on your lunch break. You can go wherever you like. Everyone familiar with the area pretty much? Yes? Kinda? All right. If you go left towards Lake Mary and on Lake Mary, you're going to find a lot more places to eat than if you go right towards 434. That's just my finding of the area. So you're more likely to go there on Lake Mary. Has a lot more selection. I would ask that you return at 1:15. We'll try to get picked back up and started by 1:30. So Dan will meet you, where do you want to meet him, Duffy? Down in the same place you met him this morning, down in the jury assembly room. And while you are out, again, I would just instruct you, please do not speak with anyone about this case. Don't let any family members or anything ask you about the case. Obviously, you know, your spouse or something may say, well, how's it going? Of course, you can answer, it's going, or it's a day, we're there. But please don't, divulge any too much more information than that or any additional facts. If anyone tries to talk to you or speak to you, please just tell them you're on the jury and walk away from them. Let the deputy know. If anyone does approach you, he will let me know. Again, you don't speak to each other. You do not have to do any type of research. Please do not. If you come across anything or if you get in your radio and you hear something on, as Ms. Gibbs was a good example, just turn it off, close it up. Just do not look at it, okay? All right, we'll see you back at 1:15.
If I could just approach before the jury is excused, I apologize. It has to be scheduled.
Sure.